Merry Christmas. Make it a good one. Greetings and welcome to the Dangerous Gentleman podcast. Yes, I am the Dangerous Gentleman. No, I did not give myself that nickname, but I certainly did earn it. As you can tell, we're doing a little something different today. It's Christmas Eve, and so while I'm recording this, I am up visiting family for Christmas, and I'm taking a little walk on my way home from church, and I wanted to get some thoughts out there about Christmas. It's Christmas Eve today, so tomorrow is Christmas. And regardless of the situation or circumstance that you're in, you can make Christmas good or you can make Christmas bad. I've been in all kinds of situations around Christmas, separated from family. I've been homeless. I've been broke. I've been in bad relationships. I've been stuck in different towns. And when that happens, there's an option to choose to have a bad Christmas and to think about all the things that you're missing and all the things that you don't have and all the things that you wish you had. Or you can choose to embrace a bit more of the spirit, the meaning of Christmas and what it's all about. And to choose to have a great Christmas anyway. You could also be in the most ideal circumstances in the world, sitting next to a warm fire, surrounded by friends and family, food, all that stuff. And even in that circumstance, you can choose to have a good Christmas, or you can choose to have a bad Christmas. This really is a lesson that applies on so many different levels, right? Because so many different people have different circumstances that they're in, but they're able to make a choice that goes beyond the circumstances that they're in. So if you're one of those people who is in a not so great Christmas situation, maybe you are homeless, maybe you're fighting with your family, maybe you're stuck in a town somewhere and you're broke and your phone doesn't work and you can't even contact anybody, you can still choose to embrace what Christmas is all about. And so I'm going to wax a little spiritual, maybe religious for a minute, get a little cliche, but remember that the first Christmas was not in ideal circumstances. Mary and Joseph were in a strange town. They were broke. They didn't have any place to stay. They weren't surrounded by friends and family. They ended up sleeping in a horse barn. But they chose to have, perhaps, in my opinion, the greatest Christmas in the history of the world. And so, if they can choose that, in the middle of that, not to mention all the social stigma that was following them based on their circumstances, right? Mary, pregnant, not married, all that stuff. Less than ideal social circumstances. A lot of criticism, a lot of hate, a lot of stigma coming their way. And they chose to have a great Christmas. Yeah, your circumstances may not be as bad as that. You may even see them as worse than that. But the choice is that you can choose to look at that example of Christmas and choose to embrace the love and the peace that comes with this time of year. We have a tendency, we can put aside all of the craziness, all of the disagreements, all of the disputes, all of those things. Some people are able to put those things aside. And some of you harbor and hold on to that stuff. you're bitter. You look at your circumstances and you blame everybody else. You look at family members you're arguing with and you can't believe they won't just come around to your side of the story. You look at your bank account and you don't understand why you don't have any money. And you're thinking about how to blame others. Well, I'm here just to encourage you. You can take some very practical steps today to have a better Christmas tomorrow. No, if you're homeless and fighting with your family and broke, you're not going to go from that to sitting in front of a fire with stockings hung up by the chimney, in one day. Probably. Miracles do happen. But that's probably not going to happen in one day. You're not likely to go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs overnight. But you can make steps in the right direction. You can make choices that will move you in a positive way towards that Christmas that you really ultimately want. I've shared the story about the worst Christmas of my life, and I've shared the story about the best Christmas of my life. There were a lot of choices and a lot of steps. The best one came before the worst one for me. There were a lot of steps. There were a lot of choices. There were a lot of bad decisions that came in between those two circumstances that led me from the best to the worst. And there's been a lot of choices and decisions in my life that have taken me from that worst. And I'm not going to say that it's the best, but each year it feels like it's getting better and better and better. And so I may never reach the peak of that ideal Christmas again. But that's not the point. The point is that you can make choices and decisions to move you in that way. So if you're stuck, I'm going to give you some suggestions. So if you feel stuck in the Christmas that you're experiencing right now, I can almost guarantee you that there is someone in your family or there is someone in your life that you can make a phone call to. And hey, you may not end up spending Christmas with them, but reaching out and making the decision to do that will move you towards having the type of Christmas that you want in the future. It'll begin the restoration process. And if for some reason, if somehow you do end up getting an invitation and you do end up in a better circumstance for Christmas than you thought you were going to have, take every opportunity to not mess it up. I've seen too many times where people get an opportunity. Someone goes out of their way to make their life a little bit better, right? And then that person goes into that circumstance and they blow it. They end up drinking or arguing with people or whatever it is, and they blow that opportunity that someone gave them. And then the next year, they're in that same circumstance, and now they're blaming other people. So if you get that opportunity to make your situation better, take every advantage of it. And, you may not end up having Christmas with your family, but find someone to have Christmas with. Even if it's just going to the mission and getting a hot meal. Remember, again, I'm going to go back to the example of the first Christmas. I doubt Mary and Joseph ended up having a wonderful hot meal in that stable in Bethlehem. Think about that. Think about that. Go get a hot meal somewhere. Enjoy that Christmas spirit with someone. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to a family. Reach out to someone. Make a connection. Christmas is about connection. And improving your Christmas situation and making it better is about making connection again. So make a connection. And if you're one of those people who has the wonderful opportunity of being around friends and family and all the pieces are lining up, don't take advantage of that. I did. I took advantage of that. I got comfortable in that. And that's how I ended up going from a wonderful Christmas to a terrible Christmas. There's hope out there for you. And if there's anything that this season proves, is that there's hope. If I can change my circumstances, I know you can too. And there's two things that have helped me go from where I was to where I am. And if I can do this, so can you. And those two things are the wonderful, gracious, all-powerful, loving God who reached down, touched my life when I was at my lowest, extended his grace, lifted me up when I didn't deserve it, decided to just send a little bit of his power my way. And now here I am. And the other piece of that is me making the choices and decisions to make my life better and to work with God as he gave me his power. And so I'm very thankful this Christmas. I'm thankful for family. I'm thankful for the choices and decisions that I've made. But mostly, I'm thankful for God sending his son to die for me so that I could experience the forgiveness and the grace that comes with that. And so that's my Christmas message to you. Reach out, make a connection with somebody, somewhere, somehow. Merry Christmas. I'm praying for you. So I just wanted to add one little piece to the end of the episode here. This Christmas I've been reading this book. It's called Winter Fire by G.K. Chesterton. It's a series of essays and quotes and poems that he has on Christmas. And if you don't know anything about G.K. Chesterton, he is a very prolific author, theologian, scholar, all of those things. And he is known for his wit and wisdom and for his love of Christmas. And so I thought I'd just read one of the poems out of this book that really touched me, that really kind of embodies the message that I just shared in the episode. And he says it way better than I could have. So just enjoy this poem. It's called The House of Christmas by G.K. Chesterton. There fared a mother driven forth out of an inn to roam. In the place where she was homeless, all men are at home. The crazy stable close at hand, with shaking timber and shifting sand, grew a stronger thing to abide and stand than the square stones of Rome. For men are homesick in their homes and strangers under the sun, and they lay their heads in a foreign land whenever the day is done. Here we have battle and blazing eyes, and chance and honor and high surprise, where the Yule tale was begun. A child in a foul stable where the beasts feed and foam. Only where he was homeless are you and I at home. We have hands that fashion and heads that know, but our hearts we lost how long ago. In a place no chart nor ship can show, under the sky's dome. The world is wild as an old wives' tale, and strange the plain things are. The earth is enough, and the air is enough, for our wonder and our war. But our rest is as far as the fire drake swings, and our peace is put in impossible things, where clashed and thundered unthinkable wings round an incredible star. To an open house in the evening, home shall men come, to an older place than Eden, and a taller town than Rome, to the end of the way of the wandering star, to the things that cannot be and that are, to the place where God was homeless, and all men are at home. Merry Christmas.
So if you like this content, please give it a rating, a review, and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me and what I'm all about and what I can maybe do for you, check out my website at thedangerousgentleman.org. That's thedangerousgentleman.org. Thank you for listening.